Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Casper the Boy Diviner, and today I wanted to show you the Ritual Tarot by Tiera May. So Tiera May was really kind. She sent me this deck so that I can do a review. So this won't just be a walkthrough. I've actually used this deck over the past few weeks, and now I want to talk about my experience with it and also do a walkthrough at the same time. Okay, the Ritual Tarot is not a light tarot. So I do feel like something like the Weird Cat Tarot or something like that would be a lighter tarot, something more simple, something more straightforward. This deck is very deep. I would actually kind of liken it to the Mariel Tarot or the Goliath Tarot, something darker and deeper. Yeah, something like those vibes. It is a deck that is based on collage. So Tiera May actually collaged these images by herself. So you can have a quick read here. The Ritual Tarot is a handmade 78 card tarot deck created by artist Tiera May. Each card was constructed exclusively using analog collage methods and took over 2 years to complete. This actually follows the RWS and the Thoth, so it was a bit confusing for me at the beginning. So I would say right off the bat, if you are a person who reads more intuitively based on the images and you are good at oracle cards and things like that, this deck would be for you. I am trying to expand my ability and my knowledge and my experience to be someone more like that, someone more free-flowing, more easy. At the same time, this was a difficult deck for me to get into, but I do want to also preface that I managed to read it easily and simply at a high level for weeks. So I used it for my daily draws as well, and it was fine, it was okay. Sometimes I do get confused with the cards because you can tell from here, there are actually no titles to these cards. So right now, after using the deck, it was out of order and I had to put it back in order. I was actually confused with some of the cards, and I will actually talk about it later on. Tiera May is considering adding titles to the next edition, so if you do want titles, you might want to wait for that or check in with her and see what the plans are for that. At the same time, I know many people who actually like it without the titles because they do read intuitively. They do like the similarities between different card archetypes, and being confused in a way actually is helpful because you do realize, oh, I am leaning towards this card more. Okay, without further ado, let me go through each card. And what I like about this deck is every time I do readings with it, it can get quite deep. So daily readings, I pull out the card. I don't want to dive too deep, I can do that. If I do want to do a more serious reading, like about my job or my career or even relationships, that's when I can actually slow down and dive deeper into these images. So let's go. You can see this is the Fool, and the Fool has that flag, it has the eyes, the third eye open. So before I dive too deep into the cards, I do want to talk about the book. I do really like the book. The book is very useful and it dives really deep into the majors. The majors are very deep. It goes through some of the how to use this deck more. So for this deck, because it's the edition 2, I do have Lust as well, which I don't think was in the original. And then the majors go really deep. I really like reading about the majors when I'm using this deck. It even talks about the opposing cards and the reinforcing cards. What I wish Tiera May would have done was to actually work a bit on the margins. So the margin here is good. It reaches the end of the page, but for like your first page, the margin here should be more, and the margin here should be more because it gets a bit difficult to read those that are in the middle. So that's just one small like copywriting thing that she could have done. But yeah, most of the book is really about the majors, and then we do have pictures of the minors, which are really important because I do get confused. This helped me actually reorder the deck correctly, and sometimes when I do get lost and I'm not sure what card I pull, I do look at this book for reference. However, the minors are all just mainly keywords, which is not a bad thing, but if you do want a deep dive of the minors, it's not here. So for example, when I saw the King of Pentacles, I thought this was the Chariot just because of the Chariot being pulled here, for example. And I didn't really see the coin in this card, even though this was the coin. So that was an example of my confusion as well. And if you see the Chariot, I get confused because I don't really see a chariot. So later when you go on the card, you will see. But I must try to remember that actually Cancer is the Chariot card. So that's something I'm trying to remember as well. So I do feel like this deck challenges you. If you read intuitively, you don't need to know that that's the Chariot. Based on the vibe of the card, you might be able to do a reading. At the same time, for me, because I am so traditional, I am so intellectual in a way that I try to use the knowledge I already built upon a card to read a certain situation, it becomes a bit difficult for me. But this deck kind of forces me to remember things about cards that I typically don't remember. For example, this Chariot being a Cancer. Okay, let's move on. I know some of this is ordered wrongly. Let's go through it and then, I can correct it as we go along. And I can talk about the confusion, my confusion about the cards. I wouldn't say this confusion is bad. I do feel like if I read more with this deck, that confusion will lessen, and that confusion will actually challenge me to learn more aspects of the card that I wouldn't have. Like I mentioned already, right? Chariot, Cancer. So this is the Fool. Beautiful. I really like the... Can you see this? The flower being the head. The white. Very nice. This is the Magician, very beautiful as well. So sometimes when I see this, I get a bit confused. Is this the Magician or the Hierophant? Because of the hand. Then I do remember, hey, this hand is also for commands will, commands power. So, as you use the deck, as you get more familiar with it, these kinds of confusions get less. The High Priestess. I recognize this through the snake, through the pillars here. Beautiful. I love the pasted eye over the sculpture. The Empress. So I do get confused with the Empress and the and the Strength. Let me show you Strength. So Strength looks like this. And sometimes I get confused with Strength because this looked a bit like a cup for me. So I thought this was a Queen of Cups when it's really not. But as I use the deck, as I mentioned, right, the more you use the deck, the more familiar you are with it, I began to see this as the Empress and remember that this is Strength. So that's just an example. The Emperor, very nice. The Hierophant. Sometimes I forget what this is. So this is something I need to learn. This was one of the cards that I put aside because I couldn't remember when I was reordering the deck and I had to choose and I had to find it. So I believe when I use it more and more, I'll be able to actually discover and learn the deck better. Lovers, this is quite clear. I really like the hip bones here. The kind of childbearing nature of the Lovers. Very nice. The Chariot. This really doesn't conjure up the image of a chariot for me, but I am learning through this. We can even take a look at the book just so that we can be super clear. See, the crab at the top is the Cancer. The Sphinx is the protector of secrets. Calm, composed expression for the Chariot. Okay, you see, that is interesting to know, and I hope when I read it and I learn more, this will become easier. This Strength. Ladybugs kind of creep me out for some reason. Lust. This is a new card, and I really like this card. Even though I don't read the Thoth much, I do feel like there's a power in this card. There's a raw power in this card that really draws me into the image. I really like the dragon, the Hydra here. I really like the eye on the heart instead of the third eye on the head traditionally. The Hermit. I got confused with this sometimes. But the Hermit does conjure that image of that old man. So that's how I kind of have that correspondence as well. The Wheel of Fortune. Justice. I love this card. I love I love the red. I love the headdress. I love the chopped head and the head here, even though they are from different images. This is very Justice. This I have no problem with at all. I believe these are moth wings. This is the Hanged Man. Beautiful. Death. This reminds me of Jigsaw from the Saw series for some reason. I think it was on his cheeks or something. Temperance. Very beautiful. This is very Temperance. The blue and the red, the fire and the water. You see the hands holding splay the dove. The Devil. Very clearly the Devil. Very nice. I really like this image here. The Tower. Very Tower. I really like what Tiera May has done with the top here. Very nice. there's a sense of chaos, you know, with this card. This is the moon, but I thought this was the star for some reason because of the bright star here. And if you see the star card, you will see there's a moon here. So this gets a bit confusing for me. And anyway, I'm a fan of Klimt, so this is beautiful. So this is the star card, and I need to kind of vibe with that. Let me double check if I'm wrong or not. Yep, this is the star card, and now I kind of remember, because this is a woman. This is that naked woman, you know, dipping her foot in the water. So that really helps me and reminds me about this being the star, and then this is the moon, which makes sense because of the owl, you know. Beautiful. That womanhood here, very good. And then this is not the sun. I also thought this was the sun, but it's not. I think this is the sun. Yep, this is the sun. I thought this was judgment because of the eyes opening, you know. But now I realize that there are these sun symbols that I kind of missed. I was so taken aback by the eyes here, which is so beautiful. I really like this image. That I thought this was the awakening card or the judgment card, but no, this is the sun card. And I really like the, you know, the modern, the old. Very nice, very complex card. And then this is the awakening with that big eye. This is judgment. Very nice. And then this is the world. Sometimes I get confused because I thought this was the queen of coins as well because of the coin on her head. But I think I do want to remember that, you know, there are these fish, the land animals next to her. Let's take a quick look at the book to understand the world a bit deeper. Yep, 2 ravens perched on her shoulder, which I totally missed in the card because I only saw the corn. Yeah, so this will really help me remember. And I do believe, you know, as you use this deck more and more, you'll be able to actually understand and remember the cards. And if you don't, if you read intuitively, this is an easy deck for you. I'm sure you'll be able to read it with ease. See, this is the Ace of Wands, the Two of Wands looking out, the explosive nature behind, the Three of Wands with, again, the third eye. Very beautiful. I really like the background here. The Four of Wands. There's the sense of stability with the background here, the tower. The arrow pointing down. Yeah, I do see a bit of I know maybe this is more for reverse cards, but I do see a bit of hecticness here. Even though they're balanced, there is a sense of maybe some sort of challenge with that arrow coming down. The Five of Wands. Direction, splitting up, conflict, unsure of where to go next. The Six of Wands, that kind of crown, that kind of success. The Seven of Wands, that kind of protecting. This really conjures up the image of the Seven of Wands in the RWS, no problem. Eight of Wands, also the RWS, that's shooting arrows here. The Nine of Wands, I really like Tower being her headdress. There's a sort of defensiveness with that, right? That kind of fortifying your brain, fortifying yourself against all kind of negative energy. Whether it's needed or not is another question. Yup, determination, battle ready. I just reading some of the keywords to make sure. The Ten of Wands. Through hardship there is growth. That's the sense of growth, even though there are so many wands here. The Princess of Wands, very nice. So sometimes I do get a bit confused with the princess, the queen. Sometimes the court cards give me a bit of trouble. But I wouldn't say this is isolated to the Ritual Tarot. I, in general, find it difficult. This is the Knight of Wands, very clear, with the horse. So for the court cards, they don't follow the Thoth tradition where the knight is the king. We do have princess instead of page, but then it's knight, queen, and king. So again, that's why this is a combination. The Queen of Wands, very nice, very Cleopatra with the black cat. And then the King of Wands, that lion here. Because if you remember, I do believe that in the RWS there's a lion in the shield. Okay, to the sword suit, the Ace of Swords. I love the clouds behind, that kind of air element very strongly here. The Two of Swords. Even though she's sort of blindfolded, there is an eye telling you to, you know, listen to your intuition. The Three of Wands, the Three of Swords. Again, to the heart, that kind of sadness in that face. Very beautiful. They kind of self-harm. The Four of Swords, they kind of rest. Being taken care by your guardian angel. Resting. The Five of Swords, a bit of a betrayal, that kind of internal conflict, that tear. I love the slight I don't know if it's a mirroring or something, but there's a cut here. I don't know if you guys can see that line. That shows like you know, the two oppressing forces trying to make a decision. The Six of Swords, a bit of a static image instead of that moving away that I saw. I do believe that the background is a ocean, so that helps with the movement, but let's see what they say. Yeah, moving on, journey. So one of the cards, I don't really see it, but at least it's very clearly the Six of Swords. Seven of Swords is that kind of growth, the kind of work he's doing. The Eight of Swords, one of my favorite cards in this deck. I really like this one because you can see again that kind of subtle self-harm. At the same time, you know, you're inflicting on yourself. She is bounded but not really bounded. I really like that. I really like that this image is a tear upon a tear, you know, struggling to get out. The Nine of Swords, again with the beautiful clouds, smoke, that kind of oppression. So instead of the guardian angels looking on the Four of Swords, the Nine of Swords is very oppressive. And then the Ten of Swords, this is a battle. This is chaos. The glowing eyes in the statue is meant to be a bit more disturbing, a bit more creepy. I love the art here. Okay, the Page of Swords, the Princess of Swords, very clear. Beautiful. I love the birds. The Knight of Swords with the horse. The Queen of Swords, very stately, very professional, very demanding, very clear on what she wants. And then the King of Swords. Beautiful. Okay. The Ace of Cups. I really like this. This is one of the more complex aces in the deck, I do believe. The Two of Cups. Union. Three of Cups. Harmony. I see more harmony here. I do see more of the Four of Wands here in this image. The Four of Cups. This is very reminiscent of the RWS. Very good. The Five of Cups, a little different. There is no spilled cups here, but you can do see, if you do see this face, you do see that kind of regret, that kind of, I wish I knew what I was doing. I wish I had an eye on my hand, you know, that kind of vibe. The Six of Cups, taking care of your childhood, taking care of your inner child. I see that here. Seven of Cups. When I do see this card, I do see a bit of a debauchery. I do see, I get a bit confused because this reminds me of the last card a lot with the red. It reminds me of Justice as well. But very interesting. I do think I need to keep my mind open in cards like this. Like, what does it mean, you know? There is so much happening. Seven of Cups. Let's take a quick look and make sure, you know, that this is really the seven. Yep, it is the Seven of Cups. Illusion, temptation. That's why it reminds me of lust. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, the Eight of Cups. Moving away. Let's see. Oh, this is not the Eight of Cups. This is the Nine of Cups. That's why I got a bit confused. This is the Eight of Cups, and there is that kind of hermit energy, that kind of mountain walking away. Yep, so I made a boo-boo there. This is the Eight of Cups. There's skeletons at the bottom, talking about, you know, giving up what you have worked on. Yeah, I knew it. This was too happy for the Eight of Cups. This is the Nine of Cups. Wishes are granted, you know. Material success, gluttony. Very nice. And then the Ten of Cups, which is good. They have that same rainbow kind of arc. So I really like this card as well. I really like the collage nature of this. This reminds me also of a deeper version or a more complex version of the Spolia Tarot. Maybe I'm just biased because they're all collage decks, but that's that's the vibe I get from this deck as well. Okay, the Page of Cups, beautiful with the stacked cups above her head. Princess. Nine of Cups. Queen of Cups, King of Cups. I like the coral, very Triton energy. And the last suit, Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles, the Two of Pentacles. They kind of balance, the yin and yang. I really like the mirroring of the image, so everything is mirrored. The Three of Pentacles, that unity, that kind of teamwork, that kind of I stand by what I have done, very prevalent here. The Four of Pentacles, the hands clasped, like praying, but not only praying, right? Praying that I can keep these things. I do want my things for myself. With this bull head, you do see the kind of stubborn nature of holding on. I really like that. The Five of Pentacles, or discs, very nice. There's that kind of salvation that I see more in this card than the RWS, if you know what I mean. In the RWS, I see more despondence, but here I do see more salvation. So I'm reading it hardship, illness, struggle, adversity, but reverse, recovery from loss. So I do feel that their recovery is more strong, even though this not when it's not in reverse. I do see that kind of recovery, that kind of white light. Six of Pentacles, the hand giving, the people asking. The Seven of Pentacles, not really reminiscent of the Seven for me. I do wish there was more plants or fruits growing, but it is a serviceable card. You can clearly see there are 7, so that helps a lot. The Eight of Pentacles, the kind of study, the kind of in-depth knowledge. The Nine of Pentacles, I like this a lot. Nine of Pentacles is usually like one of my favorite cards in the deck. I do wish there was more of a garden behind her than this water, but that's still beautiful. I love her headpiece. I love the necklace. I love the little foal here, because she's traditionally with an animal, right? Usually a bird of prey. I do believe this is the Ten of Pentacles. Yep, this is the Ten of Pentacles. I see that kind of dynasty, that kind of home behind her. So yes, very Ten of Pentacles. Yes. So this is the Princess of Pentacles with that tree growing out, the kind of harvest energy. I like this a lot. The Knight of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles. I like the horns. I like the symmetry as well. She's like a balanced queen. And then the King of Pentacles. I really like this card a lot. I kind of liked it as Chariot. You know what I mean? Because he's seated, he has 2 of these creatures you know, with him. I thought this was more Chariot, even though he was not technically moving anywhere, but there's all this movement here. Yeah, I do like this as Chariot. So I guess without titles, right, you can do what people do with the Hush Tarot. I think they kind of renumber and kind of recalibrate the cards to fit their understanding of the tarot. So if I do want to undertake that project, this will be easy for me because there are no titles here to cut off or change. I could just call this the Chariot card and then, you know, replace the Chariot card with something else. So I guess that's the pro of not having a titles to this deck. So, you know, she really talks about making it work for you. The imagery should speak to you. And I do feel like the imagery here, especially for the majors, are so deep. I feel like unpacking it will take some time. If you're a person who does magic, does rituals, I do think this is one of the top decks I've had in my collection that suits that. So in the future, I might be doing a decks for ritual video again. If you're interested in seeing that, let me know. I will talk about those decks that I do feel like lend well to a deeper ritual, to magic. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to shuffle this. And it's completely shuffleable. It's a bit big. It's more of a oracle card size, but it works well for me. I do believe that the card stock is actually eco-friendly. Let me take a quick look. Yeah, it's a 100% sustainable printing company. So if you do care about that, this is 100% sustainable. So you might want to actually try to use this. At the same time, you see they are less durable than cards manufactured with plastics. So it does feel less satisfying than shuffling other cards that I own, other decks that I own. But it's all for good reasons, right? So I don't find it difficult. When I first shuffled it, I was like, oh, it's a bit flimsy, it's a bit off. I think she also mentions she recommends not to riffle shuffle, but honestly, I've riffle shuffled this. Honestly, I've riffle shuffled this because I use my decks, you know, and I want a good mix. So I have stopped reading reversals, so I can comment about reading reversals with this deck. But it is meant to be read with reversals, as the guidebook talks about it. At the same time, you can see that the backs are not reversible, so that's something I just wanted to point out if that is important to you. Okay, so you see, it is riffle shuffleable. It's not hard to bend because they are big cards. And then let's do a quick test reading for all of you guys before we end off this session. So what message do you have for the people watching this video? The Ritual Tarot, what message do you have? Okay, beautiful. This reminds me of like the dawn, the sunset. Oh, and the Ace of Pentacles, opportunity. And then the World. Oh, this is a beautiful message. I just got a bit of a chill just pulling this out. You know, every time you reach the highest peak of yourself, always realize that there's something else to learn, something else new to pursue. You know, so your growth doesn't just stop here. And as you grow and go through these cycles of money coming in, money coming out, becoming richer, becoming more abundant in your own ways, that's where you can actually reach the peak of your life, the world, where you feel like you have everything. Beautiful, beautiful reading. And what a beautiful deck. Look at how they look like next to each other. Let's just pull a few more just so that you guys can actually see and tell. Yeah, very beautiful. See, can you see when you look at this, all the blues from the cups come out? Oh, I clearly didn't shuffle this very well. But yeah, very nice. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Please leave a like and subscribe, it helps me out. And check out Tiera May's website, check out her Instagram. And thanks again for Tiera May for sending me this deck. Take care, bye bye.